All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm giving all praises to Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Kakutash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS. I'm Yalak Mara'ah from the Sheep of Berea camp. The title of this video, Space Corpse will be a corpse when the Lord returns. And like the apostle Tahar would say, Esau is out of his damn mind. Because this is and this is all prophecy being fulfilled, so we understand that. But all right, first they basically let's get into it. It says Washington. It says the House Armed Services Committee approved a new military branch for space early Thursday. All right, so now there's a new military branch just opened up, but they're dealing with space. Okay, it says the panel unanimously adopted the measure by voice vote after debating for less than an hour. Now let's recall back to a little time ago, like maybe a few weeks ago, where you had actually pilots say that they UFOs is real, that the pilots admits to seeing UFOs. Actual pilots admits to seeing UFOs. So they know that there's other forces out there. It's just those forces that are out there, all right, are what? They are actually the chariots of the Heavenly Father, all right? It says Navy pilot were seeing UFOs on an almost daily basis in 2014 and 2015. Now, these things are real. The chariots are real because they're spoken of in the Bible. They're just not no aliens with no big heads. They're angels, all right? So they don't tell you, of course. And your pastor ain't going to tell you that because they don't read the Bible. So, the spirit out there from the apostles on down is pushing out this true message. And the point that I want to get at, okay, is this Space Corps. Now, they opened this branch. They had pilots admit that. This branch opens Thursday. All right, so the Space Corps is as close as we could make it to proposal that passed this committee overwhelmingly, Cooper said. It is not a $13 billion expenditure, a gold plate plan like had been proposed to us by the Secretary of Air Force. It is instead a reorganization so that the space professionals can be properly recognized for their skill and ability promoted. So Esau is basically saying it's not a $13 billion project, but let's jump on down. The committee approach differs from Senate, whose bill backs the formation of a new service fully funded at $72.4 million. Now, you think that someone would invest $72.4 million inside of something that they don't really have an edge or belief of protecting the space, from some foreign force. All right, they're investing money because they understand that there's a foreign force out there. Whether they cover it up, whether they say that, oh, we just want to be able to have forces out there because of China, or right here it says the Trump administration and Space Force proponents have argued a dedicated service is needed to counter Chinese and Russian threats to America's space-based assets for satellite communications, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capabilities, as well as GPS. So they're using the story of China and Russia, all right, which can all be true about them attacking their satellites or whatever the case may be. But there is another force out there that they ain't exposing to the people. All right, and I'm going to go into the scriptures, and the scriptures is going to reveal that this is happening. But let me start off with Proverbs 21 and 30. It says, there is no wisdom nor understanding nor counsel against the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Again, there is no wisdom. So them building up the Space Force, all right, thinking that I was a bright idea, nor understanding, nor counsel against the Lord. Because obviously, This counsel is against if anything foreign coming into these cracking through this atmosphere. Verse 31. The horse is prepared against the day of the battle, but safety is of the Lord. Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Kakadash. So you can prepare the most mightiest chariots, the F-35s, whatever it is. At the end of the day, the safety of y'all winning or making it back safe is up to the Most High. All right. So according to the scriptures, men will fight against the Lord. Second Esdras 13 and 31. It says, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another. All right. This is when there'll be the riots of the people. These small little riots that you're seeing happening right now are going to turn into bigger riots. All right. So it says one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, race riots. Okay. One people, one nationality versus another. Okay. A city that's against another. All right. A place against another, these different kingdoms. And it says in one realm against another. Okay. Verse 32, and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen, which I showed thee before, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man descending. That's when all these things break out. That's when you'll see the Son of the Most High return. All right, verse 33. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. So they're gonna stop fighting. This is where you see Independence Day, you know, whatever other movies they have. They're gonna stop fighting against each other. Yeah, that Space Force that they said against the Chinese and Russia. Yeah, that's they're gonna actually come together in this part of time. But don't get me wrong, all right? There will be missiles that will be shot back and forth from each other. But when they return, the objective now is to attack this thing that's in it that they see. Verse 34, an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. All right, so what did it say? Where did it say this? It says, sawest, verse 32, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. Who's he ascending from, man? He's traveling through the heavens. All right. So how are they going to fight him? They're going to try to fight him through the heavens. Let's go to Revelations 19. Revelations 19 and 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness doth judge and make war. Okay, so the heavens open, and he's seen a white horse. What's the white horse represents? Pure power. Horse represents power, white represents pure. All right, and he that sat upon that chariot was called Faithful and True, which is Yahweh Shai. The world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And in righteousness doth he judge and make war. Okay, this is a righteous king. All right, now let's go to verse 14. It says, and the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses. So there was armies in what? In heaven. What is the heavens? In space. What did they do? They followed him. Okay. Upon what? Upon these white horses, pure power, okay, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. Verse 15, and out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword. It's lasers, laser beams. All right, out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, because the laser is going to cut through that flesh, man, cut through your atoms. You know, he's going to break up your whole molecular structure. That with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. He treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the Almighty God. Okay, so this is referring to Yahweh Shai. All right, now it says, I'm going to actually jump to Second Esdras 13 and go to verse 5. I'll start at 3. It says, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. Okay. What man is that? Yahweh Shai again. Okay. Let me start from verse 1. And it came to pass at the 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. Verse 2. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. Verse 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. So everything that was underneath the Lord Yahweh Shai, it trembled, it shook, it was scared. All right. Because he was coming from what? From heavens, in the heavens. Where's the heavens in space? What are they creating? A space force. All right. What is a force? That isn't a, let's look at the word for that. That is a power. We're creating a space power, okay, to come against your power. All right. They're going to try to challenge the most high power. All right. Now, verse 4, whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. Again, out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword. This is getting more detailed. All right. Out of his mouth wasn't just a sharp sword. It says they burned. All right. When he opened his mouth. So it's getting detailed. That sword, that sharp sword is actually fire. All right. Verse 5. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of the number from the four winds of heaven. To what? To subdue the man that came out of the sea. So there's a multitude of men out of the number from the four winds. What's the four winds? News, north, east, southwest, all over the world. Okay. The four corners of the earth. All right. Of the heaven with their space force, to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Verse 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew upon it. So when the Lord returned in his chariot, it's going to look like a mountain. That's why you see certain movies. They got like an alien ship. It looks like a big rocky ship. Like, you know, if you watch that last movie that just came out with the X-Men movie, the Dark Phoenix, the aliens that was there, or, you know, what they want to consider them aliens, they had like a rocky type ship right there, taking these images from the scriptures. All right. As it says, as if it was a great mountain, right? Verse 7. But I would have seen the region, or even looking at Independence Day, right? That ship looked like what? It looked like a mountain, you know, look at the material of it. Right. Now it says, verse 7, but I would have seen the regional place where out the hill was graven, and I could not, because it wasn't a mountain. It was a chariot. It was the fathership. Verse 8. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, yet durst fight. So this Space Corps and this whole program that's being set up, the Lord is actually allowing this to happen to fulfill a story that was already written a long time ago. And it's not going to end well for those who had the Space Force. That's just how it's written. All right. And I'm going to get it. It's going to say it. Let's see if it does end well. Let's just see what the Bible say. It says, and lo, he saw the violence of the multitude that came. He neither lifted up his hand, nor held a sword, nor any instrument of war. Verse 10. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Verse 11. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up, every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived. So he burnt y'all up so bad that you couldn't even tell. Like that, man, it just had an accident over there near King's Highway. Man, this dude was damn near toasted, man. You know, but the Most High is going to really roast y'all into dust. All right. And that's how he written it to be so. Okay. So it says nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. So when you watch the movie War of the Worlds, where Tom Cruise is running and people's getting zapped by those giant so-called alien ships, and it turned into dust. All right, you think that it's a laser being shot out of the alien ship's mouth? Understand that these things are being drawn from the Bible. This book been around for a very long time before there was directors, all right, movies to be made. This is a movie. It says, when I saw this, I was so afraid. So Esdras, a man of the Lord, he was scared. Like, yo, I never seen nothing like this. He was just seeing this. The Lord put him there in that time to have visions. That's what the prophets will have. They will have visions. They will have visions. All right. The Lord would take them. They would have out-of-body experiences. Lord placed them there. They time traveling and seeing things. Verse 12, afterward I saw the son, the same man, come down from the mountain and call unto him another peaceable multitude. So he called unto himself another peaceable multitude. Verse 13, and there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad. Who was the ones that were glad? Second Esdras' second chapter. The elect. The elect. The men that were called and chosen. They were glad. They were changed. No more suffering. No more Esau trying to torture you. No more going through this damn this bondage, man. This bondage. You know, this hell. Okay. All right. So it says they were glad. Because they know that's salvation. All right. At the end of the day, that's salvation. Money cannot save you out of society. At the end of the day, how much money you make, you still got the slave owners on there, and it doesn't change who you are. All right. It doesn't change who you are, how they're going to look at you. I mean, you got celebrities who they were calling cops on for walking inside their own house. All right. And then cops had to respond to this thing. What if they just went off and fired a shot? Could you live like that? What about your kids stepping out in their neighborhoods? You know? So at the end of the day, the message is that salvation is needed. All right. And there's coming a time where the salvation, you're going to see why it's definitely needed beyond measure. If you don't see it now, it's definitely going to be a time where you're going to see. I mean, the time is coming where you're definitely going to see it much more. All right. Now, let me get back to it. It reads, some were glad, some were sorry. All right. Who's the ones who were sorry? The niggas. All right. The mother nations. All right. Yeah, because our own, not everybody from our own gonna make it. The ones we, think this is a joke, nigga crazy, you know what I'm saying? What the hell are you doing? What are you talking about? You bugging out, you wasting your time, da 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 da. Those who's caught up in the NBA finals, cool, you can watch a game. But NBA finals ain't salvation. All right, that's just sports and entertainment. That was just going on in captivity when we was in Rome. All right, that's where it all started from. Bread and circus, gladiators fighting for their life. All right, because they was held captive, all right, by the Caesars. And they put them out there to entertain. And if they won, they lived. They got food. They got to eat. You understand? And that entertained the people. All right, that's why there was Colosseums built. If you look at the Colosseums, it's the same way as you see a stadium or the basketball court set up. It's the same shit. All right. So is it, because people actually have their mind caught up in that. Not to say that they just don't know. A lot of people don't know. There's a point in time with the things I didn't know. And whatever it is, you watch it, but you have to understand that these things are distractions too. And that ultimately you have to be looking for a salvation out of here. Because you still gonna get a wake-up call. There's still a young man who got shot out in Memphis. All right, there's still situations that are waiting to happen. Tomorrow's gonna be another day where a whole bunch of stuff is gonna flood and hit you. So there's situations that are gonna constantly happen. All right. Look at the individuals who was in office. All right. Look at the movie, the thing that hit Netflix, Central Park 5. You think that was just only them? You think that'll be the last? So these is These messages that you have to take inside. All right. But anyway, it says some were sorry. Okay. Again, the ones who are sorry. And it says, and some of them were bound. Now, who's the ones who were bound? The ones who were bound, according to Revelations, the 13th chapter, okay, where it says, he who leadeth in captivity shall go into captivity. That's them. That's trading places. Like Eddie Murphy. Trading places. Right? Revelations 13:9. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So you led the so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans into captivity, Native Americans into reservations, all right, so-called Latinos, okay, into captivity, gave them that name, Hispanic, you know, and so on and so forth for the tribes, man. All right. The records is there. All right, it's there. The information is out there. It was done. So you're gonna go into captivity. You're gonna be the one bound now. All right, you're gonna be the one going through servitude now. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. What is the patience? Patience means to suffer, because though it's written to happen, it still takes time. All right, it takes time. Yeah, the sun is gonna come up tomorrow, right? But it takes time. You know, you still got to go through the night, you know, before that light shines and happens. All right. And that's the same thing that is going on with this process. It's taking time, but the prophecies are starting to speak. You're seeing it. Technology is increasing. The mark of the beast system is coming into its tuition. All right. Some were glad, it says, and some brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick through great fear, and I awaked and said, that was pretty much it, man. You know, Edris, you know, he was carried away in the spirit, man. And he seen this vision. And this vision, it hasn't came into tuition yet, but it's being built up. And the fact that they're working on building a space force, you know, if the spirit is dealing with you, you understand that this space force right here is built because in second Edges 13, these guys who are going to be fighting each other are actually going to stop to subdue the Lord when he returns. Because the Lord is returning, okay? Coming, it says he waxed strong with the thousands of heavens. So he's coming with an army from heaven. Anyway, Lord willing, this was edifying. Again, Proverbs 21:30. There is no wisdom, no understanding, no counsel against the Lord. So it doesn't matter what force, what plans they plan on doing. You can't do anything against the Most High, man. All right, but you know, I mean, Esau's still gonna do it anyway because it's written. Anyway, shalom.